Hello, and welcome to a very special episode of the Anastasiya podcast. I have a new guest on today who's not Matt, my very special friend, Vera. And I want today's podcast to be a story of Vera sharing her journey to finding her true love, her Prince Handsome, and riding off into the sunset. This is, you guys are celebrating your wedding, but you're already married next week, and it's going to be a huge family celebration. And I love your love story, and I feel like it could be a huge place of encouragement for some of our listeners and maybe other girls who are finding themselves in similar situations and just not giving up hope and keeping your heart open and all the good things.
My cheeks already hurt from smiling from everything because it's so true. I'm the girliest girl now. Never thought I'd find myself being like the princess character, but I'm like, yep, here I am. I'm finally the Disney princess I've actually secretly always wanted to be.
That's so cute. So I'd love if you told people a little bit about like yourself, your background. You don't have to go too crazy, just so our listener can be like, all right, who is Vera? And you let me know if you want me to like dive in.
Sure. So yep, as Anastasia covered, we've known each other basically our entire lives. And we've had very, very similar upbringings with pretty strict households, and both of us being similar older siblings. We had a lot of responsibility put on us. So I have three younger brothers and just found myself kind of being in a leadership role constantly, and that actually helped me seek out careers that were similar to those leadership attributes that I feel like come naturally to me. So, military, it's been 12 years now, really enjoying it. I do it part time, was doing it full time for a while. And yeah, just recently got into law enforcement a few years ago and super happy with it.
Something that I feel like is worth noting for a lot of my audience who knows me, like from my Instagram stories, you guys know I'm very emotional. I'm like sensitive, like in the psychology world, I'm definitely classified as like a highly sensitive person. But I feel like because I have brothers and because of our upbringing, I do have this like, and this is why I think Matt and I work so well together. I have like the hood side, where you just like, you can throw down or whatever. And I think had we not like had similar upbringings and stuff like that, I wonder if you and our paths would ever cross as friends because you are like, whenever I talk about my friend Vera, I talk about her like, she's like the toughest, coolest girl. The stuff you've done in the military has been like so badass. When you went away to like pre-ranger school, for example, like you and I think we're like either stripping wallpaper or something like that, right? In like a past house. And I just remember, oh, maybe you were helping me wash the walls in our room when we first bought our house.
Gosh, that was the worst household, like house remodeling project I've ever done in my life. Washing walls.
And I literally remember thinking like, oh my gosh, I don't think I've washed a single wall before I've painted. I've come a long way, especially in the Costa Cabin department. But I just remember the way you talked about leaning into doing like mentally and physically challenging things. Like I always really admired that because I was not built like that. But I think it's just a gift of how all different people are wired. So I've always like fangirled you in that way. And I'm glad that we're friends.
Yes, I was very lucky with how I was raised with a very athletic jock mom. And yeah, she just taught me it's okay to be uncomfortable and push yourself. And I'm lucky to have gotten opportunities to adopt that in the military. But it's so funny because you talk about your stories where you'll just learn about someone's second dog that they had while in line for food shopping. And I'm like, Anastasia's so brave. I could never talk to someone like this. So I just love that we both have these perception of one another. Your like coast to cabin projects, your portfolio for them. Like, oh my gosh, the labor and attention to detail that it takes. Like, you are such an amazing person. So the two of us just go back and forth of like, you're amazing. No, you're amazing. You're a badass. No, you are.
You're just even saying that your mom was like tough and like athletic and she told you like it's okay to be uncomfortable. I'm literally getting flashbacks of like my dad like making me go on runs with him like you'll have to push harder and I'm like maybe if my mom was telling me these things like it would have sat different but I was just like I'm a girl. I'm just a girl. I'm still 34 and I can't run, but that's okay. You even and a little bit like back, you ran the Boston Marathon. You just like set your sights on it and you did it. Like you,
I'm a one and done marathon girly.
that's wicked funny. That's wicked funny.
If it wasn't the Boston, I wouldn't have signed up for it.
Close to home, you like love sports, you love football. Like there's so many facets of you, but the thing I really want to hone in and highlight is your love story.
Mhm.
I want to like kind of throw it back to maybe we can start in your 20s
Sure.
and kind of what like dating was like for you and maybe the kinds of people that you search for. I like that you brought up, we kind of grew up in really strict households because I think sometimes we're so far past that that I forget the, like, imprinting that that had on us, and even I don't know if it was like this in your guys' house, but I remember I always like, you date to marry. So, like,
Yes.
my first, like, real high school boyfriend, I was like, "Well, I'm gonna marry him because like, that's what you do, you date to marry," and, like, thank God that didn't happen, and but, like, I feel like even with how I ended up finding Matt and, like, I was still dating to marry, and I think by chance, the way I continued to grow up, and, like, just evolve as a person worked with him, so we got to do that together, but oftentimes, like, when you are first generation and you're, like, unpacking different upbringings,
Mhm.
as you're growing, you're unpacking a lot
Yeah.
and trying to, like, "Well, no, who am I?" So, take us on Vera through her 20s.
Sure. So just starting a little bit before 20s, I actually really, really liked my high school boyfriend. And again, going in with that mentality, like dating to marry, that's all I ever thought was like, I'm marrying this guy. And I truly felt like I was just absolutely myself during that relationship because there weren't any expectations really. I was so young, I didn't know what the rules of dating were because I'm like, he likes me for who I am. Why would I change anything about it? And that there was just like a bad breakup, and from there, I just started changing things that made me me to fit into relationships. Because I was like, "Well, if that didn't work out, then there was something wrong." Like, it might have been this, it might have been that, but there wasn't anything wrong at the end of the day. We just weren't meant to
It was
be.
compatible.
Mhm.
So you were, like, slowly changing parts about yourself to try to, like, blend and, like, make things seem better.
Yes. And I felt like every relationship in my 20s, again, I still was dating to marry, never had a one night stand. Like, if I ever like had a hookup, I'm like, I want to like be with this person. I want to be in a long term relationship. It was either in a long term relationship, friendship. I don't know. People hook up with their friends. It happens, especially in your 20s, especially in college. But I always had that mentality of no random hookups. Like I wanted to be with the person that I was, if I was intimate with them, that's a person I wanted to be intimate with. It was very intentional. But yeah, with each relationship that didn't work out, I just added to that list of things that didn't work out. So each relationship lasted about 3 to 5 years,
Mm.
and by then, you've changed a lot of integral parts of yourself. So by the end of my 20s, I was kind of a wild child, not really myself with my partner, and a totally different person at work. There was military Vera, and then there was relationship Vera, and they weren't the same person. At the end of the day, that is the same person. I'm me, and I was changing myself in all facets. Like, my family saw one version of me, my work saw another, my partner saw another.
You know what's interesting to me? So I believe that we all learn similar lessons in life, we just learn them at different times. So sometimes I'm like, okay, people get the relationship thing figured out early on, but then they're figuring out like the business end of things of their life at different it's all similar lessons, but just however your life is unfolding, it's you learn it at different times. But
Mhm.
I feel like that getting to the end goal of life is like, ah, you've completed like the journey, you've learned the lessons, you have the wisdom. I feel like I lived such a double life in high school, and because I'm a little older than you. I remember looking back and I'm like, man, Vera just has fun. Like, I feel like you didn't have to live a double life because you and your mom were like good friends. That it's almost like maybe this was like a weird aspect of like your double life bled in a different form in your 20s,
Yeah.
like, and in relationships for some reason. And it's just like so crazy because nothing like sometimes like you can't escape things, you know? And I feel like everything you just said has so much wisdom to it. And I'm feeling like you didn't know that was going on while it was going on.
No, not at all. It's so crazy to just look back on it and be like, I had problems and I didn't see it at the time. I felt it emotionally. I knew something was wrong, but I address it. I
Didn't
could
know how
be
to
like,
identify it.
exactly. I could list and be like, I'm really sad. And I could be like, today I'm sad because of this. Today I'm sad because of this. But there was an overarching problem at the time.
It's interesting to me because I feel like when I have conversations like this with my friends, I get this layer of like, how did I not know? I know, like, even one of your past relationships, like, you know, which we'll get into, and I don't mean this as like a making it about me kind of thing. As a friend, I'm like, how did I miss this?
As a best friend. Yeah.
How was I not asking the right questions? Because I think there's like a level where you're just like, I think maybe because I view you in like such a high capable regard that it's like, no, she's got a great handle on things. Like she knows like how to put her foot down. She knows, and it's just really like you hear that statement all the time whenever like something big happens. People are like, wow, you really just like never know.
It's crazy because one, with you and close friends, there's a deep shame there. And like, I love you and Matt. And like, you guys are my favorite people to third wheel with. But it's like, sometimes it's hard to be like, I love you guys. Like, help me find what you guys have. It's difficult to like put yourself in this vulnerable position to have that conversation. And again, it's your 20s. Like, pride is, if I have any of the 7 deadly sins, I pride is usually the one I'm falling on, and gluttony being second. Um, but it's hard because, like, I'm the oldest sister, like, I have a great career, loved my job. I was like, I really need to keep everything together, and people like you have this perception of me, and you're awesome because 'cause you're so vocal about it. You're like, "I'm proud of you. You're such a baddie." And inside, I'm like, "I don't feel that way though." But on the outside, I'm like, "Thank you. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, that was nothing. It
Mhm.
took no work." So it was super, super hard to be in that position. And I had multiple friends. Lindsay, shout out if you're listening to this podcast. She was great. She addressed relationships with me and she's like, Vera, I see you in the military and how you are in the military, and you do not take crap from anyone. She's like, I just saw like how he just talked to you. Like this was my one of my ex partners, and she's like, "How can you, like, put up with that? Like, that's literally crazy." And that was super eye-opening to me, and for her to say that, I really, really commend it because that's a hard thing to say to your friends. She's like, "I see you in the military, and you would never put up with that, and you're putting that up with that at home."
Give me grace if I'm like staring at you and like thinking because I
I'm like, "Leos."
no, because I feel like I'm you're saying these things and my brain is going back to like the years that I've known you and just realizing seasons you were living through that I was just unaware of, right? And we're all going through our own stuff, but like what a blessing it is to have a friend like Lindsay who could see that in both sides because I never got to see you in work mode. Like I would just hear of the crazy tough things you would do and I'm like, "Whoa," and like I'm not even like I'm even talking like physical fitness. Like, you know, like just you doing however many push-ups you can do. I'm like, wow, I can't even do one. You're amazing. You know? Gold star, gold star. When you say, like, you have your pride in your 20s and you don't wanna be like, "Well, how do I get that?" It's so hard too because if that conversation is not left open and you don't know how to approach that dialogue, Matt and I, it really was the benefit by chance, the 2 right people met. I think when it seems so hard, it's because it's the wrong people.
Yeah.
Like leaning into those things and it just kind of never bearing the right fruit, that's kind of the answer. And just by chance, and it's not like Matt and I knew all the answers. Even Matt will say to me sometimes when we like do anything marriage related on podcasts, he's like, well, like, who are we to have the authority to like talk about this? Because we're not experts and we're not. But we've decided to go hand in hand for 13 plus years and like talk it out, work it out. And it's literally like this podcast. It's not linear. It's like this, but
Mhm.
it still is going up, but it's not like perfectly smooth. It's one of my friends just came over this week and her husband, um, they've been together for like 3 years, like I think with a dating, met, got engagement. And I'll have to remind myself that, like, just some of the growth that just comes of people only being together for 3 or 4 years, like, okay, Matt and I were there too, so, like, just and it's just people, like, sharing
Mhm.
where they're at in certain places of their relationship. It's nobody complaining and talking poorly of their spouse, it's just you're figuring out how to live together, grow together, etcetera. I'll have to remind myself, like, "Oh, yeah, like, even though Matt and I might not be in a place like, this took, like, reading books together. This took, like, really cultivating the space for certain conversations together, and how hard must it be when you're the person driving that and it's, like, not getting permeated with your other person. That would, like, make me build a wall
Mhm.
probably if I say if Matt wasn't my person and I was dating the wrong person and I was trying to lean in, and never mind, like, if you end up with, like, toxic people who, like, pull out your worst traits, and then you're just, like it's, like, always blowing kerosene onto fires. I wanna go back to when you said, like, by the end of your 20s, you realized your relationships were 3 to 5 years, and it was so much of you slowly taking away from who you were. Can you share some examples of how you feel like you were slowly getting away from your own true north?
Sure. So one of the biggest examples I remember is when I got my final offer for my law enforcement job. It was a 2-year application process, very difficult to get into, very competitive, and I just put so much work getting into it that when I got the final offer, just started crying because I was like, I don't want to tell my partner because like, this is a huge moment for me, and I want it to be about us, and I know that this is not going to feel great for them. So moments like that where I knew it was good for me and an accomplishment for me. I got a new achievement at work. I got a great training opportunity. I was so sick to my stomach to share those visions even and goals with my partner because I felt like because they didn't have those achievements, they didn't have those goals, that I couldn't have them either, and it would make them feel bad, which would then make me feel bad.
Mhm.
So just having these moments where I'm like, I am, like, badass, and I should be proud of this, but I know it's going to cause an argument, or I know it's going to just put them in a foul mood for weeks, and it's going to be turned against me somehow. So all these things that I had insane pride in, like whether it was physical fitness, that's been really important to me my whole life. Just even small accomplishments like that in the gym, I wouldn't want to share them. And I'm a Leo at the end of the day. Like I want to show off, I want to, like, share that with people, especially my partner. Like, if you're my person, like, you should be proud of me, and I never got that reciprocated. I never again, words of affirmation are big for me too. So there was never, "I'm proud of you. This is great. You worked so hard to get here. Like, amazing job." Never ever got that. So I started just really, really minimizing those things about myself.
At what point, like, so bringing up, like, most specifically, like, your most recent long-term relationship, that is when some of, like, the biggest accomplishments of your life started to, like,
Mhm.
come to fruition, I guess, and you felt really stuck in this place where you didn't even wanna share them because you didn't wanna make your significant other at the time or your partner at the time feel small because of their lack of achievements. At what point did you feel an imbalance, like, in that relationship? Is it something that was apparent from the beginning, or did it start small? Because I'm asking this because I think oftentimes, and I'm trying to think of, like, my girlfriends who have been in, like, multi-year relationships, and they, like, want this vision of marriage or they want this vision of family, and they're kind of just like trucking along, seeing like where it's gonna end up. And that's confusing to me because I'm like, well, if you've been together for so many years, where are these, like, are you guys having these conversations? And then with that, it's like, or is it, are you just like, have little things been going on along the way that it's like you already know it, and it's like
Mhm.
hard. And then, but you're hoping it gets better.
I feel like you hit multiple points that I should address, which is great. It's little things, like, first 2 years, first year and a half, absolute dream. There's little things here and there, and you just look past it because 'cause you're like, "It doesn't matter." You're still in that, like, honeymoon phase, and you start just
You're
make
obsessed with each other.
Yeah, exactly, and you start compromising. You should be compromising on things here and there, but when you're just making compromise after compromise after compromise, now all those things that you value and usually hold on a higher pedestal, now they're either gone or just completely filtered out. So, I love having conversations early about my intentions in dating because I had, like, one where I was like, "I'll just see where it goes." Didn't go anywhere, like, within a couple months, and I was just like, "Okay, never doing that again." So from the that was, like, way early in college, and I was just kinda like, "Okay." I flat out, even sometimes on, like, first date, I'd be like, "This is me. I am very career oriented. If that is not for you, I'm not gonna take offense to that." 2, I am very type A, like, a lot of people can take that the wrong way. I'm very into physical fitness. I might try to encourage you to participate with me better. Exactly. Live a healthier lifestyle.
Can I just add one thing? I feel like as a someone who knows you, I think it's fair to say my observation of you through our friendship, through, you are such a presence as a female that I think a very fair thing to say is oftentimes when you would be dating men, they'd be very intimidated by you. So I think you're being very kind in the way that you're saying this, but I think you would lay it out for people from the beginning because you were like, you're looking for someone who can run with you,
Yeah.
not someone who is like cowering in your shadows, I guess. But
Right.
also, I don't think you need someone to be on your level. You're like, can we be who we are? But I think you found that even some people who said, yeah, I'm okay with this, like you being so career oriented, and when time
Mhm.
passed, it was revealed they couldn't handle it.
Right. So I traveled for the military a lot. It's the military. Female to male ratio is completely different. I'm like, I work with guys all the time. If that's gonna bother you, that's okay. Some dudes can't handle that, and I'm totally okay with it, but that's where I am in my career, and if me talking about my male coworkers is gonna bother you, my last relationship, he was like, "Yeah, I'm super cool with it. I love those things about you. I think they're really honorable." And as time progressed, they did become issues. "Oh, you're going to training again." Well, I'm back here with 2 dogs, and now I'm getting phone calls every night about it, and made to feel like I abandoned them, and I'm selfish for going to these trainings, and it's my job at the end of the day.
I'm like, oh my gosh, when I call Matt and I'm like, I'm home with your dog and your baby, but it really is just because I want to hang out with him. Like, you get to go to work. Oh my gosh, wait, I gotta take notes. We're going through a rough season right now of no sleep. Keep going.
It's a season, yeah, yeah. Um, so you just, like, hit the nail on the head. We talked about marriage. I said, "I want to by year 2, I know I want to be with you. If I've spent 2 years with you, I'm not just fooling around. Like, I'm not here to waste time.
Mhm.
If I wanted hookups, I'd be on an app. Like, this is intentional. I want to marry. So I wanna be married within 2 years. I don't wanna date for 5 years." And that's what ended up happening in my last relationship was we dated for 5 years, and one of the things that kept me there for so long was one of our cousins' weddings. I was just out of earshot, but my ex heard someone say like, "Oh, that's Vera's new boyfriend, and she's a serial dater." And that just like made me so self-conscious, and I was like, "Oh, am I a serial dater?" Like, I don't think I am. Like, these are all long-term relationships that I've been in. Like, I'm trying here. So that 5-year relationship, I was just like, I gotta stick it out. Like, I've spent 5 years on this person trying to make it work. I can't let that person that said serial dater be right.
I think something from an from a friend's perspective that was also very real and happening, and I don't know if this, like, is real in other people's relationships, is there was in real time, like, a fast development of, like, some mental health things where, like, people have anxiety, depression, but when they become all-consuming and you I think you behind the scenes were very supportive in because we've always been people who, like, okay, if something is, like, not right in life or something feels off, let's talk about it.
Mhm.
Let's take a breath and what are we gonna do about it? Because you can't just talk about it and stay there because it's never gonna get better. And you have to, like, that's what life you have to want to get better. You have to want to improve. That's been, like, the biggest, hardest thing about motherhood because as much as I wanna improve, it's only when Noli's gonna wanna improve. And her improvement is
People need to be willing to improve. Noli.
yeah, she's just existing. And then I think, like, a very real thing is, like, well, you love the person, you know, and you love them beyond their limitations or, like, things that are holding them back, and the time that you invested too, this is very real. There's a home involved. There are animals involved. There's, like, a life that was already built.
Yeah.
And just you even saying that, like, having the conversations of being like, "No, I we talked about marriage and all these things." I remember, like, talking about rings and stuff with you, and I'm now even thinking like, "Thank God it didn't happen." Like, "Thank goodness it didn't happen," how much more of a mess it would have been, and it's easy to say this all now, right? Seeing how beautifully it's all worked out, but I do remember the conversations, like, in the thick of it, literally knowing, like, this is all for a reason and we don't know why, but like, there's something better. Like,
Yeah.
and not just like, "Oh, there's something better, like a better person." I don't even mean that to degrade, I don't mean it at the expense of minimizing someone else who was very important in your life and who was an important, like, part of growth and just learning and things like that. But it's just when it doesn't work, it's because it wasn't supposed to work.
Yeah.
And everybody like, I believe this with maybe minor exceptions, but I'm not here to talk about the exceptions. Like, I do believe God really has a person for every person. And if you want it, like, it's go out there and find it. Like, go out there and get it. It's there for you.
Yeah, I was forcing it so hard by the end. We both were, and just trying desperately to make it work, like, to the point where you just feel so crazy. Like, like, the energy in you is just so anxious and swirling, and you're like, "Why do I feel this way?" Because 'Cause you're forcing something that's unnatural. Like, it's 2 forces that were never compatible at the end of the day. Started compatible? Maybe. Or I just chose to look past things and it just kept adding up. The little things that I chose to look past was I'd be like, that's okay that they don't exercise. Like
Kind of
that,
very motivated.
yeah, that's what it led to. Exactly. Like, and I don't care if you don't exercise, but when you exercise, you're motivated. You're working hard to keep yourself healthy and fit, whether it's because you're a parent and you want to be active with your kids, you have an active dog, like you're going out there and spending extra time because you're willing to put the extra work in for yourself and someone else sometimes. That bled into so many other aspects into our relationship where the work wasn't being met with the work that the other partner was being put in.
I'm actually even remembering because you guys did so many renovations in your home and I literally remember like probably a voice note that we sent and you're like, "Oh, I have a list on the fridge and like, it's just a point of reference that we can go and like see what else needs to be done." And like, damn girl, you were trying. You're trying.
Yeah.
You are gonna be such a good mom when you guys have kids. You're gonna be like, "Let's look at our chore chart. We feel better when we do jumping jacks." It's a really good idea. You're gonna have to help me with Nolies.
It's another thing, finances. When you're with someone for so long, you're like, "Oh, I put so much money into this relationship and so much time, and I've invested in our home," and those are all points that can make you stick around in a bad relationship as well, and I can say that because that was me
Mhm.
at the end of the day, like
It's so hard because there's so much enmeshment already.
yes.
I do wanna go back to when you said, like, it got to the point where it was so much crazy and it's just
Yeah.
both of you guys existing. What do you feel like gave you a moment to really, like, identify, "This isn't working," or something has to change?
So, I would say a few times I had, like I would be screaming in an argument, and I don't scream.
I
Like,
never heard you.
I've never like, I'm a woo girl at sports events, that's it, and, like, hyping up my girls at weddings and stuff like that, and, like, getting grandmas out on the dance floor, like, I'm hollering then, but never in an argument. I've just me personally, I have always found, like, I'm way more effective when I'm sarcastic and just keeping it at a low level. I'm way more likely to win an argument
That's the
that way.
military, dude. It's the slow,
Yeah,
and you're winning the war.
yeah, I'm making the other person look crazy. So the fact that I would be screaming like a I don't even know if you're from Jersey, sorry, but like a Italian Jersey chick, like from a reality show. Like I would expend that energy and then sit back and be like, what just happened? Who am I? Because that is not me that just came out. And the fact that it rose to that level was so scary to reflect on. And then I think we're gonna get into it, but the academy, when
Mhm.
I was finally alone, we were still together at the time, but that was a huge that was the point.
Mhm.
If you want me to go on or
Yeah.
if you wanted to.
Well, so do you think when you went away to the academy, do you think you guys felt like, "Okay, this is what we need, a little, like, breath," because you guys were planning to start a whole new life together on the
Mhm.
other side of this,
Yeah.
in a new location, and it was gonna be the fresh start everybody needed,
Mhm.
and do you think you guys both were still like, "No, but we're gonna get married, like, this is still my person, I'm doing life with them," and then tell me kind of how it just all unraveled.
So for me, I can say I went into the academy with it was almost half a year that I'd be there, and we're coming out with a new location that we're moving to. So part of it was he hated his job. That the job added to like his bad mood all the time. And so I was like, a new location, a new job. This is what's going to fix our relationship. Like, it's not me, it's not us, it's his job. It's us living in like the same state that we grew up in. Like, this is going to change everything for us. It was in such a bad place before I left for the academy that I went in thinking, this is either going to make or break our relationship. I knew that going in, and it broke it ultimately within the first few weeks.
I remember, like, you told me you would, like, dread getting phone calls because it was never like you could never be like, "Oh, I got to learn this week," or like,
Yeah.
"Oh, we studied this week." It was always, like, this emotional sabotage.
And me minimizing again, like, this is an accomplishment, and like they're at their bad job right now. I'm at my new exciting job. Like, I have this shiny object. They don't have that. I can't possibly talk about like my day. Like,
Oh, that's so
yeah.
heartbreaking.
And you want to share that you're in
Yeah.
this new place, learning a ton. It's stressful AF. Like, you wanna just unload on your partner and be like, "Help support me,
Mhm.
talk to me," and I'm one of those people where almost every day after work, I would be calling him, and I'm like, "Here's what happens at work. Help me kinda, like, analyze it." Like, for me, talking through the problem helps me, like, just kinda evaluate and assess. I'm like, "Here's how the situation played out. now that I'm saying how the situation played out, here's how I think I could have addressed it better. Or what do you think? How can I address this with my commander or something? How could this situation be resolved better? I need to talk those things.
I'm an external processor too.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Like I need to get it out there. I can't internalize it. I
Mhm.
can't just let it sit there.
To me, it's literally like getting it out, but because I'm visual too, verbally getting it out, it like lets me see it. And then I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
okay.
Yes.
This is what we have to do.
Yep.
Or like, but like when it's inside, it's too much in too small of a place, and you
Yeah.
just need to like, blah. I
Yes.
feel better.
Mhm. And I started externally processing with other people. Some of them just friends, literally like married classmates. And the conversations I'd have with them were so deep and meaningful. And I was just like, this is weird. Why am I not getting this from my partner? Like my partner that should be
Encouraging you and
encouraging, supporting
you up.
me. Yep. I'm like, these are people I just met. Never mind someone I've been with for 5 years. These are people that are willing to put away their personal time just to let me chat, vent, and let me process what
Yeah.
we learned that day.
I remember when you came home, because I don't want to minimize like the whole time you were away, but it was like 6 long months of this. And I just can only imagine what it's like because you're at an academy, you're learning, you're getting the foundation for what your new job is going to be. And it's just so much going on up here to also be juggling like the whole emotional. And it's not just your emotional, like it's your heart too, because it's not just like a random person that it's like, oh, this person's like, it's not working out. It's like there's so much depth there that it's like amazing that you made it out and that you did so well. And like you compartmentalize wonderfully. But I remember before you left, our conversations were about engagement rings.
Yeah.
And then I remember when you came home, we were on a walk and you were like, I just remember reaching this point where like, I really hope he doesn't propose, like, because I will say no.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, because as some like, that's like what every girl wants,
Yeah. I
know,
wanted that. Yeah. I wanted marriage. Like, I want a life partner. I
especially
thank
something
God
you
have a
built
now.
with.
Yes, exactly. And I was still just so desperate to have it. And then the academy, I was like, it's not it.
I,
And it's time to like cut losses and start accepting like it's not meant to be.
I actually have a question. Do you think going away, as hard as that was, do you
Mhm.
think getting time away reminded you how strong you are?
Oh, for sure. 100%.
And
And
you're
like,
like, I'm not that girl.
yes. And okay, like going back a little bit, like my guys that I worked with in the military, they would see me at work, like, I'm the boss, and they're like, "Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am." Like, she takes no shit. And then they'd see me, like, after a phone call with my partner at the time, and they would just, like, literally see me, like, broken, and they're like, "This is not you." And the academy, like, all my classmates not all my classmates, jeez, there were some drama queens there, but my core group of friends, they just, like, were exactly what I needed at the time,
To
and
remind
that
you who
was
you are.
how I met my husband, because he and his roommate, just the 3 of us were so, so close, and they were just always so supportive, so encouraging. They're like, "Damn, like, I can't believe you did that. That is so impressive, like, good for you." Like, or they challenge me, be like, "You can do that. Why are you even questioning yourself? Like, we've
Mhm.
seen you do this and this so far." And I just kinda look back and be like, "Yeah, why did I question myself?" I was very, like, quiet and timid, and within a few weeks at the academy, I'm, like, back to my old self, like, just talking so much crap to people, bringing up the Northeast Slav. I'm just like, "No, you guys are getting Vera. Like, this is who I was. This is who I am." And they loved it. They encouraged it, and they loved those things about me.
And that must have felt like really good after not getting to be that for so long, or just
Mhm.
yourself, for so long. What was it like coming home and then having to go start your new life alone?
I think that was exactly what I needed also at the time, because I've never ever lived alone before.
One thing I do wanna add is because I think sometimes the time people commit with someone, there's so much enmeshment, like, you guys had pets together.
Mhm.
It's not easy, you know? Sometimes it feels so easy for people to be like, "Well, it's not working out. Just go your separate ways." And so much of the mental load of why people don't go their separate ways is everything you guys already have together. And,
Mhm.
like, what was that like?
The decision to start over alone was not made in a vacuum at the academy. It was years before that. The academy was just like that final turning point where it was like, it needs to be now, or it will,
It's gonna just get
or it's going to
uglier.
be a divorce 10 years from now. If it even gets to a marriage, it's only going to get uglier. Exactly. Like, thank goodness we didn't have kids involved. I miss the crap out of the dogs that we used to have. Well, they're still alive. I miss them, but at the end of the day, like, I'm mentally so much better. And I know they're getting taken care of at the end of the day. I didn't leave them with, like, an abusive person or
Yeah.
anything like that. I didn't need to rescue them. That part was really hard. But again, that decision wasn't made in a couple weeks at the academy. It was made years before that. I just didn't want to accept it because I was like, I can fix it.
Both people have to wanna fix it.
Yeah.
What were some of the things that you were processing while you're in a new career, in a new state, no family, no friends, like, you're leaning on people, like, through the phone, basically.
Yeah.
What was kind of like your inner dialogue? Did you stay like, were you hard on yourself and you stayed there, or did you have enough of an up from just pouring into yourself and building yourself back up that you truly believed? Because you know, it's, like, easy for people to say, like, "Don't worry, it's gonna get better."
Mhm.
Did you ever feel hopeless, or did you know that it's gonna be okay?
So when I was on my own, did I ever feel hopeless? No, because I felt hopeless before that. And that was when I wasn't alone. Yes, that's the point that it had gotten to, and it's like, it's genuinely so crazy for me to reflect on it and see what I accepted.
I've, like, never heard that before. That just, like, blew that was the
It's a
crazy
hard thing,
word.
but yeah, yeah.
I was not hopeless because I was already hopeless before with another person. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I love you so much. You're so tough. You're so tough. You so deserve where you're at right now in your fairy tale, girl. Totally.
Well, Anastasia doesn't see me crying into the pillow, just
Hey, like, we all have our moments, you know, me, like, motherhood is great. Me losing my shit in the middle of the night, like, never having any more kids as I'm, like, rocking this baby, and then me the next morning, like,
sweet angel baby.
yeah, we are, you know, it's not linear.
Yes.
Let's, I guess, tie in to, like, where you're at now and,
Mhm.
like, the fairy tale ending. Tell us about your now husband, how you guys met, just a little bit of, like, the love story for encouragement.
My favorite subject to talk about. This is when I get all giddy and probably trip over my words, turn bright red at me. So I met my husband at the academy. Uh, both of us at the time were in committed relationships, and his roommate, who was going to be our officiant at our ceremony this weekend, the 3 of us were so close between studying, just any training that we did. All 3 of us were military folks, so we just had that same very crude sense of humor, very sarcastic with one another. We were super, super close, and just both of them were so like, I was one of the guys with them, which growing up with brothers, that's just kind of how I've always meshed. I love the guys I worked with in the military, like, I'm like, I just wanna be with, like, one of the guys without being one of those girls that's like, "I'm one of the guys." I have a huge fear of being that girl, actually. I always have to talk to my husband, I'm like, "I'm not like that, right?" So both of them challenged me, which was awesome, especially my husband. Part of the training that we had to do was defensive tactics. So most of this was very basic jujitsu moves. You're obviously armed in law enforcement, so you're trying to steal pistols from one another. You're doing all these crazy scenarios. And it was so funny because I went through all the like most of the guys in the class, and I'm like, not a challenge, not a challenge. You're being too easy on me. I can feel that you're not going 100% because I'm psycho like that. I'm like, challenge me and make me sweat, make it a workout for me, make it a real situation. So if I'm ever in that situation where a grown 6'5" man is trying to take a weapon from me, I need to know like how it's going to feel. So by you going easy on me, you're doing me and other female students a disservice. Exactly. And so I get to my husband. This is probably the fourth or fifth week into the academy, maybe even further. And I'm like, everyone's been too soft on me. He's like, don't worry, I'm a feminist. I'm going to treat you exactly the way I treat the guys. And he whooped my butt. The bruises I had after classes with him, I've never had in my life. People called us the domestic because we looked like my bun would be over here by the end. But I just was literally like the primal energy I used to have was coming out. I'm like, this feels awesome. I'm being challenged. I'm learning so much. And he was a really, really good instructor because he has that martial art, a little bit of that martial arts background. So he wouldn't just kick my butt just to make me feel bad. He'd still give me the opportunities to learn, which was awesome. And again, that challenge that he gave me, I was like, this feels awesome. At the end of the day, it was super platonic, which also made it wonderful. The conversations that the three of us would have were so deep, so meaningful, and all three were just our true selves. There wasn't any algorithm that I was trying to play and impress these people because like they've accepted me. Like we're friends. I don't need if they didn't like me, they wouldn't spend time with me. So we talked about like dreams, fears, faith.
Real.
We just got into the real. And I didn't hold anything back because I'm not trying to impress either one of them. I'm just being me.
Yes, because you're also still like you knew you were in a relationship and you had someone at home despite the challenges of that. But I also remember like you telling me like in hindsight, you're like, I wasn't trying to impress anyone. I would show up with like pimple cream on and like
Oh yeah.
basketball
I
shorts.
look like Adam Sandler when he goes to play basketball.
Yes, so it's you are like you have really good morals and truth and values, and that just like makes this even better because I feel like the best things start from such a pure place, and it was like just a beautiful friendship.
Yeah. And like I've shared with you before, it reminded me so much of my first relationship where there were no compromises. I didn't change any part of me because I didn't know there was a game involved. With the right person, there is no game. You don't need to change these things about yourself. They either accept them or they don't. And it was just, he saw me at my worst. I didn't pass an exam. I'm crying in the room, just sobbing. And I feel like a failure. I feel like I'm going to fail my friends. And they were just so encouraging. And this is like our entire group of people too. We had such a great, like close group of people. We had pillow forts in our rooms. You would think this is college, but it's a bunch of grown adults learning how to defend people.
I wish
It was exactly what I needed at the
I
time.
wish you guys could like all go on and be like stationed together, I guess,
Mhm.
everywhere
Oh, yeah.
because it's like you do when people are going through similar trials and growth, and you guys were in a very high stress like situation for 6 months and living there too. It's like it just creates like a lifelong bond, and then when everybody gets dispersed back out, like life does have a way of getting in the way. It doesn't ever take away that closeness and that depth that you were able to connect with people,
Mhm.
but like imagine like getting to like have that proximity with those people for all the time. Like, I'm
Yeah.
working with them all the time. That'd be so cool.
It was yeah, it's that's a great point. It's a hard environment that we're all thrown into. People just said goodbye to careers. Their spouses are away from them, so their support system. People have kids
Ugh.
that they're away from for 4.5 months. Like, that's crazy. It's a super stressful time.
So how did you and your now husband
Mhm.
reconnect? It was like, "Hey, I'm single now." But no, it was because it was, like, approaching each other through friendship first.
Exactly, yeah.
And I remember you mentioned something where something that was helpful was your husband told you something about, like, the hero complex or the savior complex. Like, if someone doesn't wanna help themselves,
Mhm.
you can't be everything for them.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that relationship, I was girlfriend, therapist, mom, all these things, all these roles. And at the end of the day, I just want to be your partner. I want to be your equal. I don't want to tell you what to do. I
Mhm.
don't want to I'll help you figure things out. I shouldn't be figuring them out for you.
There should be initiative. It's self-sufficiency,
Yeah.
right? That's the teamwork, and there's like, in marriage, there's seasons of life where, like, one person is like, you lean on the other person more, but it's not supposed to be that imbalanced
Mhm.
forever. That doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. You can't be a crutch the entire time because, again, going through this new relationship, when we started talking so he was stationed on the other side of the country. So I'll actually go into the last question that you asked. So we basically stayed in contact, and all of us did within our group of like, hey, this is what I'm doing in my new office. Oh, my new boss kind of stinks. Like, how do I handle this? And so we stayed in touch, and him and his roommate, like, the 3 of us still chatted all the time and just, like, vented about stuff, and eventually, the 2 of us, just started talking on our own because 'cause we're both talkers, and months after the academy, my relationship was over and done with for a while now. He ends up getting single as well, and it just slowly developed into more intimacy. But it's so odd looking back at it because 'cause I'm like, we had the deepest conversation before it ever got there. So we just maintained almost like a friendship.
Mhm.
And then eventually we're like, okay, who's flying to who to see each other at the end of the day? Like, no words spoken. We would just talk on the phone for hours. Like, why aren't we seeing one another in person? I felt more supported living on my own and just doing long distance than I had in the last 3 years of my other relationship, which is so crazy to me because if they want to, they will. He signed me up for jujitsu. He's like, "You were so good at the academy. I'm not gonna let you not continue that." He bought me the uniform, he called local gyms, and he paid for, like, my first few sessions
From the other side of the country.
from the other side of the country because he wanted to support me. He wanted to show me that he cared. Like, what more needs to be said? Just a little and that's not a huge, like, that's not an act, like, act of miracle, an act of strength. All he did was just encourage me, and I'm like, "This is so wonderful to be taken care of like this."
Yeah.
And he's seeing the strengths I have and wanting them to grow. He's not making it a competition. He doesn't care if I am better than him in something. He wants me to be my strongest mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, everything.
When, for you guys, did it get, like, very serious? Of, like, because you had said, like, you were always very open early on in relationships of,
Mhm.
like, "I'm laying it all out." Was it, like, already like that for you guys? Like, was it ever like, "Listen, I'm not doing this again. Like, you're either with me or you're not."
Yes. At one point, that statement was 1000% said. I'm like, I'm not doing this again. Tell me if you're interested or not. And it's crazy because I had those conversations before as a friend where I was like, I really want kids when I'm older. Like I loved having an athletic mom. I want to be an athletic mom for my kids. And like I loved that my mom pushed me. I want to do that for my kids in the future and encourage them to be their most confident, truest selves. And but now you have to say it with intention. You're saying this with a person that might be your partner. And it was so interesting because we already had those hard conversations, but now you you know that you like them and you know that they like you. And so you just kind of throw it out there. Like,
Mhm.
you've already seen me at my worst. You've seen me after a failed exam. You've seen me after I didn't pass this shooting scenario and I was super upset. Um, I'm just gonna throw it out there. Like, I've already gotten some of the worst rejection before.
Mhm.
If they don't accept these things about me, then they don't accept them. But everything just kept going in the right direction, which again is always an encourager too, because you're like, everything's going really well. Why would you stop yourself from asking those hard questions? I'm like,
Mhm.
he likes me. Like, I'm going to ask him how he feels about marriage. I'm going to ask him about his faith and his parents' relationship, his relationship with his siblings. Like, everything's going well. I can only add on.
I feel like everything just fell perfectly into place
Yes.
because it was always meant to be.
It's so crazy because they're from another state. Also, they were in the military. We would have never crossed paths because we just had two different specialties. I got into this class early and he was asked about this class. I can't remember when he was asked about it, but both of us just happened to get into this class very last minute. And then there's hundreds of students, but smaller sections. So not only did we get the same class, now we have the same section. So many things fell into place for us to
Me.
meet. It's
But that way
so crazy to look back. And I used to give you so much crap about soulmates. And I was it's crazy. I still have a hard time with that phrase because I'm like, well, statistically, blah, blah, blah. Stupid. That's my brain talking instead of my heart.
that's like the magic of that person for you. It like kind of defies logic.
It legit defies logic because so many things could have gone wrong and we could have just missed each other like
It's I
ships in the night.
ugh, my face hurts because I just I always smiling. No, this was so good because it's like I try to justify sometimes like me and Matt and blah blah, but then I just always have to say like God just by his grace,
Mhm.
who I am, gave me my person early. I don't think the world could have handled me not having my person like locked and loaded early because I just would have been crazy.
Mhm.
But it's like God works so good.
Yeah.
And now you guys are like coming up on a year of marriage.
Just pass it, yeah. The blessing was exactly when I needed it. And earlier we were talking, if we had met in my 20s, he probably would not have been interested. I was a party girl, just doing whatever I wanted to, and he's not interested in those things. And those are some of the things I love about him. It's like
First,
he met me at the best time possible. Was I at my possibly lowest? Yes.
turns out you at your lowest is still quite the cat. Quite the cat. That's crazy that you even say that because I wasn't even thinking about like I remember who you were in your 20s. I was like, this girl can hold her own, like because I knew you were always like in charge of so many men, I guess, with your military stuff. That like I would be like, dude, Vera goes and she like you can outdrink them, you know, and you still command
Problem.
you command the respect. And then I do remember the shift as you were going through your 20s. You feel like I can't drink like I used to. It's like a slow tipping point, and even today when you guys got here, I'm like, "Oh, would you like a beer?" And then, like, "Oh, he doesn't drink," and I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Wha" just, like, very casual, not because he, can't have one and then not stop, like and that's, like people who just don't wanna drink, they're just very certain and confident in who they are, and
Mhm.
I'm like, "That's so true," like, you had to become or you had to give yourself permission to, like, just go through all that stuff to be
Mhm.
who you are.
Yeah. I have so much respect for people that are like, "I don't drink," and they just leave it at that. I'm like, "Nothing else needs to be said. You don't need to ask why." Like, good for them.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, in closing, I have one question left. If you could go back and tell younger Vera, like one piece of advice or speak to any viewer who might be in a relationship. Okay, so I guess it's two questions.
Mhm.
If you could go back and give yourself one piece of advice, what would it be? And then what would your piece of advice to viewers be who or listeners who might be in a similar, like just in their heart of hearts, it doesn't feel right, but they
Mhm.
don't know where to begin,
Yeah.
like what to do next.
I remember hearing an episode on Call Her Daddy. Don't know if we're allowed to shout out other podcasts, but
That's okay. Wait, do you like that podcast?
back in the day, I really did.
Okay, because I, like, never liked it, but I feel like, she just did one with Kim K, and I kinda wanna listen.
I haven't listened to the since she switched to Spotify just
Oh.
because I haven't been doing podcasts in a long time. But she had an episode where she's like, "You gotta let go. It's so scary when you're in that relationship and you know it's not right. You gotta walk away. It is so hard to do." And I remember listening to that episode and thinking, "I'm in this position. I know I need to." I think we still dated for another 2 or 3 years after that. I remember hearing that episode and, like, I just didn't know how to process it because I thought, "This might be for me. I feel like it's for me," but I just couldn't do it, and she talked about it, like, the entire episode, like, she's like, "This is one of the hardest things to do." It really is. You're putting you're investing so much time into it. There's just that perfect person for you. I know it. I did not believe it before. I genuinely thought I have to sacrifice some portion of me. Something will not be accepted. It's okay. I'll just hide this one thing. I'll just not mention this thing. No. This my husband has literally I've never felt more taken care of in my entire life, and just everything about my life is celebrated. And it's truly a partnership. I've never felt more equal and just more loved and taken care of. I've never been that girly girl that's like, "Oh, just hold me, like, I just wanna be a Disney princess." I am that girl now. Oh my gosh, I'm literally like
I love when you say that.
feel like a tiny, petite little princess. It's Rapunzel when she has the short hair, 'cause I have short hair, and I'm like, "This is my prince. Like, this is my person," and I just love it so much. If I could go back to my 20s, it's exactly that. Just don't compromise those things. Don't keep chipping away at your true self. The right person will not only accept those things, they'll celebrate them. Like, those are all things. If you're proud of it, your partner should be proud of it. I mean, there's definitely immoral things that you shouldn't be proud of, but you know what I mean.
Mhm.
If it's something that brings you joy and you should be proud of, you both should be proud of it. Oh gosh, I am head over heels. I'm super silly about it and I hate myself for because
No.
I've never been this vulnerable. I've never been this giddy. It's literally like being in high school again.
This is reminding me of I think I sent you a voice note. I was hiking with the dog in the woods, and I literally remember this. Like, you are an alpha female. You are not always you are a tough girl. You bring a presence. You work hard on, like, being the best, and that's nothing that you should ever, like, back down from, and it's something that's very important to you. I remember literally saying to you, "No matter how tough you are, you still deserve, when the time comes, a soft place to land
Yes.
if you need it."
Mhm.
And it's just so cool to get to see it from this position now because now it's like you're with your person, your husband. You didn't have to minimize your toughness.
Mhm.
Your husband is alpha and you guys are like here, but you get to have those like soft moments that you never let yourself have before because you were like helping other people
Yeah,
process
I
through their stuff.
was the sole support system where I'm dating. I've literally told people when I can't find the words to describe him, I'm like, he's a man, which means man of action, taking care of me and providing a home for me, feeding me, letting me cry. I had the silliest moment last week where I had to ship my engagement ring that he got me so they could work the wedding band into it. And I just walked up to his car and started like bubbling up. I'm like, the UPS person is talking about the insurance. I don't know anything about it because you paid for the engagement ring. And I'm just like literally bubbling to him until I start crying. And he just gets out of the car, hugs me for like 20 seconds, doesn't care who's looking. I shut up and he's like, give me the box. I'll go take care of it. And then I sit in the car shamefully, like, I'm like, I'm so pathetic. I couldn't even take care of that. But he, at the end of the day, like, he's just like, it's okay. Like, here, I'll take care of it.
We all need that safe place to be soft because you can't be tough forever.
No,
You
yeah.
but having a safe place to do it allows you to continue like moving forward in your strength and like not back down from all
Mm-hmm.
other challenges. One thing I wanted to quickly say is when you were like, I always thought like relationships were about like compromising and I'll just like put this part of myself away. Marriage is compromise.
Mm-hmm.
Relationships are compromise, but it's like very important to identify or to know the difference of like what that compromise is. And just how you were saying, like, okay, there's like immoral things, like true compromise in a marriage will never like, it's not going to feel bad. It's not going to feel
Yes.
like a crime against yourself
Mm-hmm.
or the other person. Compromise in marriage is like, we're doing something for the betterment of each of us because on the other side of this of me either understanding something a different way or me like trying to see it your way, it lifts us both up and
Mm-hmm.
that's the compromise. It always is two people being raised up on the other side of it. It's not about one person trumping the other person or whatever. It's literally always about the agreement of the two people
It's a
being.
team. Yep. And just like in a team, say volleyball, for example, okay, I need to move to a different position to allow this person who has more skills to help the team be more successful. That's what it is. And if I like misuse compromise, I'm glad that you're pointing that out because I don't want that misconstrued. But like teamwork, that's what it is at the end of the day.
But I think there's a lot of people in relationships where there's gray and they're like, well, this is what it is. It's compromise. They always talk about this compromise. And it's like, that's where the discernment comes in. And like, what is your heart actually telling you? Like, and not your heart below that. Like, what's your gut telling you? Because feelings, right? Like, feelings are what make us stay because, like, okay, but we should compromise. But if your gut is telling you, like, this is the wrong type of compromise, this doesn't feel right, like, this feels intrinsically wrong, something is off, that's your answer.
Yeah, a gut feeling is we were made with that to be a tool. That is a biological tool all of us are born with. And I tell women this all the time, especially in law enforcement. I'm like, if you have a bad feeling, leave.
Mhm.
Literally remove yourself from that situation, which is so funny. Again, looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, like couldn't have given myself that same advice, but I'm not that person
Mhm.
anymore. But yeah, gut feelings, that's huge, especially for women. If it doesn't feel right, if you're forcing it, mm,
I love that. I feel like that's a good, like, send off to listeners of, you do know the way.
mhm,
Underneath it all, you need the space and the clarity and, like, you already have the answers within you,
yeah,
and it always works out.
mhm.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Seriously, like, thank you
you.
so much. This is, I know, a huge effort. You guys have so much stuff going on. We're doing a huge celebration for yours and your husband's love story and just union and just greatest adventure of all time.
Mhm.
So I really appreciate you taking the time. I was like, we're gonna do this fast. It's gonna be under an hour.
No, you know us with time management skills.
Yeah, me talking her face off for like a solid hour and a half. You were here before. I'm like, oh, we should start recording.
Warm up.
Yeah, we basically did 2 podcasts. All right, catch us next time when we talk about XYZ. Just kidding. Thank you so much for being on.
Happy to be here and happy to support you like you've always supported me.
Of course. And we'll catch you next time. And I don't know, maybe I'll have you on many years in the future whenever you guys feel like it's time to have kids, sharing your kid experience.
Oh, I'm gonna be in the same shoes as you, probably. Like,
No.
where's the magic here?
Dude, I literally always say you and Ox are so tough. I say this to Matt all the time. I'm like, it's not even gonna be that hard for them because they're so tough. They're so tough.
No, no, big softy.
Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time.